Hola, mi poco bateristas. Mi nombre es Lucas, aprendiendo español una mes. Necesito practicar. Welcome back to Casey Quick Drum Program, video number 2. As you can tell, mi español es muy horrible. But I am learning still to speak Spanish. Much like you learning to play the drums, my little bateristas. Thank you for being here again. Now, as well as listening to my terrible Spanish, you may be wondering why I'm dressed like this. Well, unfortunately, ladies, I don't always dress like this around the house, so you're out of luck. But the reason I'm dressed like this is because today it's a very special day in Australia and New Zealand. It is a day that commemorates the fallen soldiers who fought in the Battle of Gallipoli. It's called Anzac Day. So I got up very early and went to the dawn service at Mentone RSL. It was special, it was good. So anyway, yes, I don't usually dress like this, even though maybe I should. So today, you're here to learn, obviously, so that's enough about Spanish and enough of the history lessons. Let's get on to the drumming lesson, which is basically just talking about the money beat. Now, there's probably hundreds of video lessons online about this. This one will be very brief as well, but mine will have a couple of minor differences that may make it interesting to even people that have seen lots of these. So, in the next video, video 3 that I'm going to put out soon, that will talk a little bit more about the book that I've written, which is is beginner to intermediate. The second book, which I'm working on at the moment, is intermediate to awesome. Everything is awesome. So, this is the money beat. Basically your basic rock beat, okay? Now, pretty much 90% of what you might play as a drummer, if you decide to do this professionally, will be using this beat or minor variations on it, okay? And like I say, I'm going to just talk about 2 minor things that might make this video a little bit different to other ones that you've seen. So essentially, with the money beat or the basic rock beat, your main thing is you're playing 1/8 notes usually, or quavers, whatever you want to call them if you're a classical musician, on the hi-hat, like this. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, okay? So just 1/8 notes there. You're basically playing the bass drum, or the kick drum, whatever you want to call it, on the count of 1 and 3. So just your right foot and your right hand would be this. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, okay? Your snare drum with your left hand will be on the count of 2 and 4. So 2, 4. Okay, so it'll be like this. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Very simple. Now, a couple of things. One thing is that if you're just starting out as a drummer, my recommendation is that we try and play everything that you do with your right hand with your left hand. So I'd encourage you to practice this also with your left hand on the hi-hat like this. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. You may find that when you do that, your playing takes on a slightly different character than when you use your strongest hand. And the idea is if we're starting out on drums here, which most people that are doing this program will be, we want to make you as ambidextrous as possible, as quickly as possible. Ambos, Spanish meaning 2, okay, or double. So we want to get both hands to be as even as possible, especially early on in the piece, okay? Now, that beat, I mean, you think of most Michael Jackson songs. I mean, it is literally probably the most recorded drum beat in history. Now, one little bugbear of mine is that you see some drumming programs where they try and get you to count your eighth notes on the hi-hat like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now, that might seem logical, given that you've got 8 eighth notes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. But no one is ever going to tell you to play a drum beat where you've got, oh, we want a basic backbeat, which means we want the bass drum on, what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Where we want the bass drum on 1 and 5, and the snare drum on 3 and 7. It's never going to happen. They're going to say to you, hey man, or woman, we need snare drum on 2 and 4, kick drum on 1 and 3. Okay? Hence, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Okay? Not 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That isn't cool. And I'm not really a big fan of that, because to me it's just a bad habit to get into early that you're going to have to unlearn later. We don't want to do that. That doesn't make any sense, okay? We want to start with good habits, which is the whole reason that you're here doing the KC Quick Drum program. Anyway, those are the two main things to think about when you're playing a simple beat like that. Now, the other thing too is that you'll notice that I will be playing 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And you'll notice that I'm accenting every quarter note, okay, or every crotchet. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Obviously, you don't have to do that. You can experiment with it. It's a very common way that rock drummers play the hi-hat when playing a simple eighth note rock pattern. Like I said, so experiment with playing with your left hand or your weaker hand on the hi-hat, because if you can find it on YouTube somewhere, a song called Down with a D that I used to play with the band ITV that I was in for a long time, I used to play like that because it gave the song more of a drum machine feel to it, okay? Because I don't tend to accent when I'm doing it with my left hand, it changes the character of your playing, and that can be quite a useful effect to use in your drumming. Anyway, that's basically it for the basic rock beat, okay? Remember, eighth notes on the hi-hat, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and kick drum on the count of 1 and 3, snare drum on the count of 2 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, okay? And we're going to take this a bit further in subsequent lessons, make it a bit more interesting. All right, have a great day, lest we forget.